Hey guys, it's Mad Chen here. I hope you're all doing well. In today's tutorial, I'll show you all you need to know in how to make animations in Procreate. We're going to animate a candle flame and we're going to use these Procreate tools. Don't worry if you don't know how to use these tools. Even if you're a complete beginner, I'll be guiding you every step of the way. This animation is super easy to do that complete beginners are able to make this. So stick around until the end for all the Procreate tips in creating animations. Welcome back! On the screen is the canvas size I'm using today. Please check the description below for a canvas size tutorial link if needed. First, I'll go to the calligraphy category in the brush library to select the monoline brush. I'll be using this brush to quickly draw a candle to use for today's animation tutorial. Now that we have our candle, we can start working on the animation. We'll be animating the flame today, and I've created a color palette for our flame. If you're interested, I've left the color codes in the description below. So first, let's select the light orange in color palettes right here. Then add a new layer at the top. Draw a flame shape like so. Then color it in with the same color. Next, go to the flame layer and tap on the flame thumbnail. Select Alpha Lock from the list. Next, go back to color palettes and select red. We'll be placing red at the tip of the flame. Then select dark orange right here and color in a section under the red like so. Lastly, select yellow and create a shape like so near the bottom of the flame. Once you're happy with the look of the colors, go to Gaussian Blur under the Adjustments tool. Then bring the blur up to 6%. So this is our first flame done. So now we go back to layers and add another layer on top. And again, we'll select light orange. Before we continue drawing the other flames, I'll place all the candle layers into a group. I'm doing this because a group is considered as one frame in Procreate's Animation Assist. We need all the candle layers to be on that one frame to show as a whole image. You'll also notice that my candle is at the bottom of the layer list. This is because any image you place at the bottom can become a background for your animation. You'll see what I mean later when we open Animation Assist. To open Animation Assist, go to the Actions tool, then the Canvas tab, then go halfway down the list and toggle on Animation Assist. A bar should pop up at the bottom of the screen. This bar holds your animation frames. When I click on the left frame containing our candle, you'll see a clearer candle image. When I click on the frame next to it, you'll clearly see the first flame we drew earlier. Then clicking on the empty layer on the right slightly fades the other layers since this layer is meant for our second flame that we'll be drawing in a bit. So now that you know how these frames work, let's continue drawing flame number 2. So when drawing animation, you want to make sure the image on the next frame is slightly different from the previous drawing. This time, I've decided to add 2 tips on our flame. So draw the base flame shape, then color it in. After this base color, select Alpha Lock for that layer. Then we can select red and fill in the top. Then select dark orange, and fill in the middle. Then lastly, select yellow to fill in a part of the bottom flame. Then blend to 6% with Gaussian blur. Now what I like to do is keep animation assist on as I draw additional flames. Doing so makes it easier to see what you've previously drawn so that you can decide how you want to draw future frames. The same Procreate tips we did for flame 1 and 2 applies for the rest of the drawings. I'll quickly go ahead and draw an additional 4 flames before we continue. Here's an interesting fact. Traditional animation uses 24 frames per second. We're only using 6 frames for our example tutorial today. However, you can use as many frames as you'd like. Now that I've drawn our flames, I'll go back to layers and make sure that all the layers are toggled on. Next, I'll click on the candle frame for a list to pop up above. Then, I'll toggle background on to keep the candle image showing throughout the entire animation. Let's test our animation by clicking on play. We have a nice animation, but it's too fast. So I'll pause for now and let's adjust the settings. So when you click on settings over here, you'll see frames per second. We currently have it set to 15. The higher the number, the faster our animation will be. I want to slow our animation down, so I'll take the number down about halfway and choose 8. And when we hit play again, you'll see a better speed for our flame. You can also keep the animation playing as you choose your frames per second. If you keep the animation playing, you can see the difference in speed when I change it to 7 or 9. Now let's talk about other important settings. The onion skin frames show you how many of your frames are shown at the same time. I have this on max, but you can lessen the number to make it easier to differentiate between frames. Lastly, we have onion skin opacity, which just changes the opacity of your frames to make it easier to see which frame you're currently working on. Now I'll change the background color layer to a darker color so that we can see the animation better. And let's hit play. You can also learn more about Procreate through watching my other tutorials, and you can leave questions and comments down below, and I'll see you in the next Procreate tutorial. And as always, thanks for watching.